Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to Atheist Church and my channel. Thank you for dropping by. I hope you enjoy it, and if you're not subscribed, I hope you subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Also, hit that thumbs up button, it really helps the algorithm. Um, anyway, just an aside, it would help if I unmute myself with my microphone. Anyway, gotta be smarter than the equipment you're attempting to operate. Anyway, um, hey Kevin. Let's see, we've got Nevermore here, Marianne, and Kevin. And as far as I know, that's all. Um, anyway, um, so today, hey, purple rhymes with orange. We've got the topic of crazy Pentecostals. And yeah, they're crazy. All right, purple. Um, so I did a series on Pentecostals. Um, it was near the beginning of my channel. I think, I'm not sure. Uh, Probably if you type in Pentecostals in the search bar on my channel, you'll get the series. Um, at any rate, so the basic idea of Pentecostalism is they they're uh, basically an NRM, which is about 2 years, Marianne, I think. Not really sure. Um, anyway, uh, so Pentecostals are basically an NRM, which stands for New Religious Movement. And they started in I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the exact decade they started. Um, but it wasn't um, it wasn't a really a cohesive movement. In the United States, the Pentecostal movement started with the Azusa Street revival, and but um, it independently started in other places at about the same time. Few years difference, but about the same time. Like there was there was a different Pentecostal movement in South America and a different Pentecostal movement in Africa. Um, so Pentecostals are not this uh, cohesive group that people generally think of when they think of a quote unquote denomination. You know, generally with denominations, what happens is you get something like Baptist, and then you get branch offs from the Baptists, like independent uh, fundamentalists or Southern Baptists or, you know, whatever. Um, but that's not how Pentecostalism started. Pentecostalism actually started here, there, and everywhere. So uh, go and see my um, series on that if you haven't. So, um, probably the two hallmarks of Pentecostalism are snake handling and speaking in tongues. So let's go to the snake handling first. Not all Pentecostals or Pentecostal churches uh, do the snake handling bit. Um, Objectively Subjective, who runs the channel, I don't watch him too much anymore. I liked him better when he was known as Godless Iowan. He was a Pentecostal preacher for a while. He was actually born into the religion, and his grandfather was a preacher. So, anyway, moving on. Um, he did a series on my journey away from faith. Hey, Kevin. Um, I'm sorry I didn't mention you when I said um, I did mention you individually, but anyway. All right. So anyway, so when he was the godless Iowan, um, he had a series called My Journey Away from Faith. I don't know whether you can still find him under the godless Iowan or not. I haven't tried. But if you can, um, you definitely should watch My Journey Away from Faith, um, because he does a wonderful job. And, he talks about growing up in the Pentecostal church, and, how he was always expected to be a preacher because his grandfather was a preacher. So, anyway, one week he was away from his church. But of course, he still went to church because, I mean, that's what Christians do. If you are a committed Christian, and for the most part, even when you're on vacation, you still need to go to church. So, anyway, hey, secular pagan mom. Uh, so he was on vacation and he stopped in at this Pentecostal church. And he sat in the back just in case he needed to run out or walk out. And they were doing the church service, and it was the regular Pentecostal, people running up and down the aisles, um, arms flailing all over the place, um, people speaking in tongues. I mean, these people, when Telltale says, uh, Pentecostals are nuts, he really means Pentecostals are nuts. These people are whack. I mean, really, they're whack. And in fact, um, if you've seen atheist channels, you've probably seen him cover Paula White, who is a Pentecostal preacher. Um, Which, by the way, whatever happened to Paul saying, women sit down and shut up? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let's get back on the topic. Uh, so he goes in this church, and, you know, people were doing what they do in Pentecostal church, whatever the fuck that is. I did go to one Pentecostal service, but it was very toned down. And I think they told their people to tone it down because technically churches are always open to the public, of course. But this was like a special service. So I think they told their people to tone it down because there were not people running up and down the aisles. I mean, so anyway, and this was an Assemblies of God. Uh, so, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Kevin. I'm sorry. Um, so anyway, they got to the point in the church service, getting back to um, Godless Iowan and him going into this Pentecostal church when he was on vacation. Um, they got to a point in the church service when they brought out the snakes. And at that point, Godless Iowan said, I was out of there. I don't do snakes. Yes, Kevin, it is. But I still send my regards and my thoughts are with you. So, so he heads out, and I say all that to say not all Pentecostal churches handle snakes, but the ones that do, um, they handle mainly uh, rattlers, which are venomous. Um, and if they get bit, they usually won't go to the hospital. It's okay, Kevin. No need for apologies. So, he said, I don't do that shit. So he was out of there when they brought the snakes out. Um, so anyway, when they get bit, they usually die because they won't go to the hospital because they think that God's gonna save them. Hey, Otangelo, what the fuck? You got bit by a fucking snake, for God's sake. By a venomous snake. By a rattlesnake. You don't have to die, for fuck's sake. Go to the fucking hospital and get anti-venom. But they don't. They'd rather, quote unquote, show their faith and die than go to the fucking hospital. What is wrong with these people? I think even Otangelo would agree with me that this is fucking insane. So anyway, had to get that out of my system. Um, on to the speaking in tongues. The speaking in tongues isn't as off the deep end as snake handling, but it's pretty off the deep end. Seriously. Otangelo, that's not what this is about. I told you, if you want to come on my channel, we can talk about it. We're not going to ever agree on it, because we're going to argue till the end of time about this. But if you want to come on my channel, we are not talking about that today. We're talking about something else. Back to the topic. Um, so speaking in tongues. So there's a um, so there's a real quote unquote speaking in tongues, which is um, called xenolalia, which is like real languages, but these people studied these languages. And in general, they'll they're linguists and they'll speak like 6 or 7 languages. Although there are a lot of people who are bilingual, these are people who are have xenolalia, which means they speak real languages. What the Pentecostals do is they have glossolalia, which is basically gibberish. Not basically, it is gibberish. It's gibberish. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. And don't let those crazy Pentecostals tell you it's the tongue of angels, because it's fucking not, because it's not even, because fucking angels don't even exist. But we're not on that topic right now. Let's get back to the show. Um, oh my goodness. All right. So, um, what happened is in the early days, the Pentecostals would ask God, give me this gift of tongues. And then they would go somewhere, anywhere, because they thought they could talk to people that had a different language without even studying their language, right? Okay. So they would go over to these people and start speaking this gibberish, right? And these people would look at each other like, what the fuck? These people are fucking nuts. Well, it's funny because if glossolalia really was the tongue of angels, which I already told you it fucking isn't, because angels don't even fucking exist. But if it was, wouldn't it stand to reason that every Pentecostal church in the entire world would be on the same page? In other words, would it not make sense that a Pentecostal church here in America is going to have the same speaking in tongues that a church over in Germany does? I'm going to go ahead and spoiler alert. No, no, they are not. Uh, if you look into this, when Pentecostals are quote unquote speaking in tongues, uh, they use the sounds of their mother tongue. So speaking in tongues is going to sound different in a Pentecostal church in English speaking America. I mean, even even in the South, where there's a church on every street corner, and I kid you not, in the South there is a church on every street corner. Sometimes there's more than one church on a street block. I swear. So anyway, but if you go to one Pentecostal church in, say, New York City, they're going to have a different tongues than another Pentecostal church in the same fucking city. But let's get even farther out. A Pentecostal church in America is going to have a different, quote unquote, speaking in tongues than, say, a Russian Pentecostal church. And this is because the people that are, quote unquote, speaking in tongues use the syllables and the sounds of their mother tongue. Now, they're nonsense syllables. Of course they are. But they are syllables. And they are syllables from the mother tongue. So it doesn't even make sense. Hey, native. Kevin, I'm pretty sure the preachers do. Pretty sure the preachers know it's all bullshit. The people, not sure. Because if you go through my channel, I have a video called God is a Drug. And he is. Point blank. Sorry, Otangelo. God is a drug. How do we know this? We have proof. When people think about God, we have this proof from fMRIs, which is functional MRI and imaging, by the way. When people think about God, it activates the same part of the brain as drugs do. And when I'm talking about drugs, I mean like the addicting drugs. So same part of the brain. And we know this because we've had fMRI images. And, you know, it's not just one study, because, of course, one study can be a fluke, but it is several studies. In fact, there are so many studies on this that they can do what's called a meta-analysis. Now, what a meta-analysis is it's an analysis of a bunch of analyses. And And basically, meta-analysis doesn't do any research in and of its own. But what a meta-analysis does is it takes several studies and it compiles all of these studies and um, it analyzes these studies. Right. Exactly, Kevin. And it analyzes these studies, and I have never done a meta analysis. I wouldn't even know how to. But they can do it. It's very complicated. I'll go ahead and tell you that. But they can do it. Um, but there have been so many studies on this, they can do not just one meta analysis, but several meta analyses. So, you know, yeah, God's a drug. Go figure. Wow. Never seen that one coming. So anyway, what else can I tell you about Pentecostals? And like I said, in America, they started on Azusa Street. That was in the Midwest somewhere, I think. I don't know. I forget. I've done so many shows since I've done that. It's like, whatever, you know. Uh, Secular pagan Otangelo is pretty cool. He he's a fundy. I'll go ahead and tell you that. He's a fundy. But he's pretty cool. I mean, he he disagrees with us, of course. Um, but he's pretty respectful. Although I will say he overtalks me a lot. And it gets really, really, really annoying. But then, of course, when he comes on my channel, he can't overtalk me because I have the power to mute him if he tries to overtalk me. So he knows not to pull that shit here. But anyway, moving on. No, he's pretty cool. He's pretty respectful. Uh, okay. So those are the two main um, areas where you can tell Pentecostalism from other types of Christianity, uh, which is the speaking in tongues and the snake handling. No, secular pagan mom, it actually is Otangelo Grasso. It is. Swear to God. The non existent God. Although that doesn't really help, does it? I swear on my mother's grave, that's the real Otangelo Grasso. So anyway, and I know that not because I've met him in person or anything, but I know that because I don't know why, but when he comes on here under Otangelo Grasso, I can't see him. And I don't know why that's the case, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know how to be able to see him when he comes under the name of Otangelo Grasso. But um, I think it was Marianne who told him I couldn't see him when he comes under the name Otangelo Grasso. So he comes on my channel under the name of Otangelo G. So yes, that is the real Otangelo Grasso. Swear on my mother's grave. No, secular pagan mom. I have no idea why. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, did you lose your mom recently? I didn't mean to be callous. So yeah, I know for a fact that that's Otangelo Grasso. Uh, anyway, I'm trying to think of, is there anything else? Oh, some Pentecostal preachers um will do this thing about miracles, which is bullshit. No such thing as miracles, people. Spontaneous remission? Yes. Miracles? No. And let me tell you something. When a doctor works his ass off to save somebody's life and they give credit to God instead of credit to the doctor may not be pissed off because they're probably used to that. Okay? The doctor might not be pissed off, but I'm pissed off for the doctor because God had nothing to do with it, because God doesn't exist. Anyway, um, that must have been under the Otangelo Grasso because I didn't see that. Otherwise, I would have booted him, but that's okay. Um, as long as he's not making any slurs, you know, um, I mean, if he wants to call us atheists a bunch of stupid people, I'm fine with that. I don't really care about stuff like that. But when he when people get his slurs, I mean slurs, like homophobic slurs and racial slurs and stuff like that, that's my line. That's my line. Hey, asexual atheist. Yeah. Uh you will get banned from my channel for shit like that. And I know people here won't do that. But warning, if you make any kind of slur, you will get banned from my channel for that. Um, but I think I have those kinds of words blocked, at least in the comment section underneath my videos. I don't know whether it works in the comment section, but anyway, so yeah, um, so healing. Let's get on to healing. This is actually what got Godless Iowan out completely, because there was a man with cancer who came up to him and said, "Preacher, I got cancer. I need healing." And the uh, the Godless Iowan said, "Okay, yeah, I'm going to pray for you, but you really need to go to the doctor and you really need to do what he says, which is chemo, radiation, whatever else the fuck the doctor says, you know." So, the Godless Iowan prays for him, and he says, "You know, I prayed for you, of course, out loud, but you still need to go to the doctor." And man said, "No, no, no, I'm fine. I've been cured." And 6 months later, the guy was dead. And that was it for the Godless Iowan. He's like, "I can't do this anymore. This is bullshit, and I'm not doing it anymore." So that was it for him. And good for him, because a lot of people, a lot of preachers would not have had the integrity to do that. So good for him. That's okay, secular pagan mum. So, Cult of Dusty, he's, I watch him sometimes I don't. Just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Um, he does a section called Today in Religious Bullshit. Um, and he in this segment he showed a guy who was supposedly raising somebody from the dead, right? Right. This is televised, okay? This is televised. You could see that the dude in the coffin was moving. And what the fuck is wrong with these people? I mean, yeah, maybe the people on the ground couldn't see unless they were like up close to this con artist. But if you're gonna pull a con like that, don't fucking televise the thing, because they're gonna get a good angle. It's called television for a reason, people. You know, I mean, come on. Anybody with a brain cell can tell. Anybody with a brain cell could tell that that guy was moving, not much, twitching or something. Um, Maybe his eyelids were fluttering. I can't remember exactly, but you could tell the dude wasn't dead. And so, anyway, yeah, bunch of bullshit. Bunch of bullshit. And these people eat it up. They fall for this shit. Oh my fucking God. Oh my fucking God. No wonder there are anti vaxxers. Not just because of that stupid paper that came out that said vaccines give people autism, which was, by the way, totally debunked. And people still believe that shit. But it was totally debunked by more than one person, more than one research team. Okay? Totally debunked. But you've got not only those kinds of anti vaxxers that think vaccines give people autism, but you also have anti vaxxers because they think they're covered in the blood of Jesus and that's going to stop a virus from invading your body. Like, I'm not going to say, but I will get demonetized. I have no idea why these YouTube idiots are doing this, but I will get demonetized if I say the C word. Um, but the situation we're in now, um, they won't get vaccinated because they think the blood of Jesus is going to stop a fucking virus. And anyway, Otangelo, let me talk to Otangelo for a minute. You should really think about going to a guy's channel. He's a rabbi. His name is Tobias Singer. Just type it up in the YouTube search bar. It'll take you right to his channel. He debunks Christianity not from an atheist point of view. He debunks it from the Jewish scriptures. He debunks it from the Tanakh. Yes, asexual atheist. That's how you spell his name. He debunks the entire idea of Jesus being the savior of the world from the Tanakh. Go to his channel. If you listen to him, if you really listen to him, you will get to the point where you're like, Christianity is bullshit. Now, I did not turn atheist because I found his channel. I was already an atheist when I found his channel. But it is a good channel for Christians to go to. He's very respectful. He's very respectful because he's cognizant that Christians go to his channel. Go to his channel. He debunks the idea that Jesus is the Messiah from the Jewish scriptures, from the Tanakh. So go to his channel. I'm I'm not lying about this shit. I'm not going to steal his stuff. He's got great shit on his channel. And you know, I'm not gonna steal his thunder. I'm not. If you're interested, go to his channel. He does a wonderful job. But Christians are not going to listen to me because I'm an atheist. They may come to my channel, try to preach, and whatever the fuck else they do. But, you know, I mean, they're not gonna, they're not really gonna listen unless they're searching. Okay. That's just reality. And I understand that. But my channel is for people who are searching. Um, but Tovia Singer debunks Jesus as the Messiah from the Tanakh or the Jewish scriptures. Thank you very much, secular pagan mum. Uh, um, so what else can we say about the crazy Pentecostals? They're crazy. They're absolute fucking crazy. That's like that's okay, secular pagan mum. Kevin, does it come from your maternal line? Because you're only considered Jewish if it comes from your maternal line. That is a blood Jew. Now the Jewish religion will take it, practically anybody, but they do not proselytize, and I got to give them props for that. They don't proselytize. Why what, Nevermore? I wouldn't know a sexual atheist. However, I'm talking about, you know, mainstream Judaism. And that could very well be a sexual atheist. Just a minute. Okay, I'm back. My cat wants the water on. Oh, why only consider the maternal line? Because Jews are matrilineal. A lot of cultures are patrilineal, but and nowadays cultures are considered um, dualistic in that they considered both lines, but in the past, cultures were either matrilineal or patrilineal, meaning they only considered one side of the family tree to actually be your family. Um, that too, asexual atheist. That too. I was getting to that point. Now, patriarchal, on the other hand, is a different thing altogether. Matrilineal, all matrilineal means is you trace your bloodline through your mother. Patriarchy and matriarchy are two separate different things. Uh, patriarchy means that the home is dominated by the father. Matriarchy means that the home and therefore society, I should have said that with the father, um, the home and the society are dominated by the mother. So that's the difference between a patriarchy, matriarchy, patrilineal, matrilineal. So, two entirely different things. Um, at any rate, I have no idea how I got on Jews. Oh, yeah, Otangelo. I wonder if he's still here. You still here, Otangelo? Or did you drop out because you can't bear to have your faith challenged from the fucking Bible? I guess that's important. From the fucking Bible, you have your faith challenged. Christianity. That doesn't really mean anything, Nevermore. It could just be, lurking. So, anyway, I really didn't mean for Atheist Church to go on this long. Sorry. So, anyway, I'll get off and, give your ears a break. But, you know, um, that little side thing into, you know, uh, uh, rabbi singer, you know, um, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna call him a rabbi because he's a rabbi, you know. I'm not gonna call a Christian preacher a preacher. That's not gonna happen. But, um, rabbis have gone through vigorous training. Uh, by the way, so have imams, um, the Muslim holy men. And I will see you guys later. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the thumbs up to help that algorithm. And if you think what I do is important, you can become a channel member or you can support me on Patreon or you can make a one time donation through PayPal. And I will see you guys later. Bye.